On one side, a curtain of sapphire auroras rippled over jagged, black mesas. On the other, a permanent bruise of storm cloud-churned, flickering with violet lightning. Glassy sand dunes stretched between them, catching the light and throwing it back as 1,000 tiny suns. Sergeant Elias Rourke of the Terran Expeditionary Corps hated this planet on sight. His boots crunched on shards of vitrified sand as he picked his way across a bombed-out roadside shrine, visor HUD painting his path in ghostly green. Above him, a trio of Terran gunships roared past, their contrails shredding the sky. Objective: recover black box secondary, survey civilian casualties, non-priority, he muttered. Yeah, because that always ages well. This had been a Viharian pilgrimage route, a place of song and incense. Now, statues lay decapitated, obsidian faces buried in sand. Imperial banners, black sigils on silver cloth, flapped from broken pylons like old scars. The Imperial Orion Directorate, what everyone simply called the Empire, had shelled the road to trap an insurgent convoy. Intel said there was a downed shuttle nearby, with a Terran Recon AI core inside. They wanted the core back. Everything else. Collateral. Rourke. Status. Crackled Captain Imani overcomes. On site. Lots of rubble. Lots of dead. No sign of our toy yet. Stick to the objective. We have a narrow window before Imperial patrols sweep that sector. Roger, he said, and muted his mic. The wind carried the ghost of incense sweet, smoky, clinging stubbornly to the iron reek of blood. A small, spiral-shaped charm tinkled against his shin plate. He glanced down. Aniklas. Hand-carved crystal, shaped like a double helix, glowing faintly with residual bioluminescence. He picked it up automatically, thumb brushing the warm surface. It pulsed soft gold at his touch, then dimmed. Neat trick, he murmured, and was about to pocket it when he heard it. A sound beneath the moan of the wind and the distant rumble of gunships. A cough, then a thin, pained voice speaking in gutter Viharian. Is someone there? Elias pivoted, rifle raised. Thermal overlay washed the wreckage in gradients, highlighting a faint heat source under a collapsed arch. He kicked aside shattered stone, grunting as a slab shifted. Beneath it, curled in a hollow, was a small figure. She was Viharian, slender and long-limbed, with skin like pale obsidian veined with soft blue luminescence. Faint fractal patterns glowed across her cheeks, dull and irregular injury, exhaustion, or both. Her hair was a fall of midnight threads, dusted silver with ash. A torn ceremonial shawl wrapped around her, marked with spirals matching the necklace in his hand. Her eyes huge, faceted, shifting between violet and cyan focused on him with effort. A jagged beam pinned her leg. Purple-black, blood oozed slowly, sizzling where it hit the vitrified sand. Elias dropped to one knee. Hey, stay with me. You're not dead yet, so let's ruin someone's day by keeping it that way. She flinched back, breath hitching. Terran. Soldier? Yeah, name's Elias. Not here to shoot you. Hold still. He slung his rifle, wedged his shoulder under the beam, and heaved. Muscles burned, armor servos went in protest, but the slab lifted just enough for him to drag her leg free. She screamed, a high, chiming sound that made his teeth ache. Sorry, he muttered. He slapped a quickseal foam patch over the wound. It hissed as it hardened, changing color as it bonded with her bioluminescent blood. His HUD flashed red. Warning: unauthorized use of medic supplies on non-Terran incident will be logged. He ignored it. Her hand fluttered weakly toward the necklace in his palm. That is mine. Yours. Thought so. He clasped it around her neck. The crystal flared brighter, and some tension eased from her shoulders. Name, he asked. She blinked slowly. Sirael Catharan, last. Keeper of the Crossroads Shrine. A bitter, breathy laugh. Not much of a shrine now. Yeah, well, I've seen worse fixer-uppers. Rourke, Captain Imani's voice snapped in his ear. You've gone silent? Report! Elias hesitated, looking at Serail, one injured alien woman, abandoned, wrapped in the ruins of her faith. The intel briefing replayed in his mind. Viharian religious caste may be colluding with insurgents. Avoid entanglements. Minimal engagement with locals. Do not extract civilians unless expressly ordered. I found survivors, Elias said, not our mission. Tag their location for local relief. You move on the black box. He looked around at the shattered statues, the cratered road, the scorched impact craters. There would be no local relief. Empire patrols would finish what they started. Ma'am, he said carefully, this sector is about to be swept by Imperial gunships. Any survivors left here are dead survivors. We're not here to play savior. Imani shot back. You know, the treaties. Terran intervention in Imperial internal matters is already on a knife's edge. You extract an unregistered Viharian priestess, that's political dynamite. Serail watched him. Eyes too weary to plead, but too proud to look away. Elias swallowed. Copy, ma'am, he said. Sending coordinates now. He muted his mic, switched channels, and sent a short burst of false data. A corrupted coordinate packet attached to a status update that said nitrogen monoxide survivors found. Then he scooped Serail up in his arms. She gasped, surprised by the sudden strength. You defy your command. Yeah, Elias grunted as he adjusted his grip. Lucky for you, you weren't doing what we are told when it's more risk your life. For a stranger of another world. Lady, I once adopted a 3-legged alley cat because nobody else wanted it. You're an upgrade. Despite the pain, a small, incredulous smile tugged at her lips. You are. Absurde. Correction, he said. Jogging toward the ridge, where his shuttle beacon pulsed in his HUD. I'm human. Behind them. The Empire's banner snapped in the wind, blind to the choice that had just put them on a collision course. The first gunship screamed overhead as Elias crested the ridge. It was Imperial make. Sleek, predatory, black plating edged with silver. Its engines howling in a pitch calibrated to intimidate. Its searchlights cut white scars through the sapphire auroras. Rourke, what the hell are you doing near the LZ? Imani demanded. Imperial patrols just jumped into atmosphere. We're aborting extraction in your sector. J'ai tout grund. Hide. Any orders? He let Serail, half conscious in his arms, her blood soaking into his armored chestplate. Negative, ma'am, he said. I'm bringing in a priority asset. What asset? We haven't. Rourke killed the channel and sprinted toward a jagged ravine, sliding down on a sudden slope of glassy sand. Above, the gunship's searchlight swept past, searching. Serail's fingers clutched weakly at his harness. They sense me. The Empire hunts the Keepers. They think if they end us, the old ways die. Newsflash for these guys, Elias panted as he ran. Killing priests never killed faith. It just makes better martyrs. They do not care for souls. Only for control. He ducked under an overhang of dark rock and pressed flat as the gunship S-beam lanced overhead. Bright enough to turn the world stark and white for a heartbeat. Why you? He asked, as the light faded. Why target a shrine? Serail's eyes flicked to the necklace again. The crossroads are not only stone and incense. We guard memories. Songs of the past. And records of the Empire's sins. Elias felt a cold weight settle in his gut. Records. As in evidence. She nodded faintly. They made us archivists when they conquered Viharis. Thought. Religious castes would keep their secrets safe. They forget that those who keep history also remember it. And now they want to erase the witnesses. Her fingers brushed his wrist, leaving a faint luminescent smear. You understand, Tia? I feel I've seen Kupi before. Human history. he said, throat dry. Yeah, we've got some experience with empires and their dirty laundry. Far above, thunderboom no, not thunder. Orbital artillery, distant but approaching. The situation was escalating fast. He glanced at the distant blip of his original extraction shuttle on his HUD. It winked out as command aborted. Great, he muttered. Stranded on a half-bombed, holy highway, with a hunted alien priestess and a sky full of fascists. Cyril arched a brow, despite the pain. I thought humans were, how do you say, space orcs? We are. You should see us when we're pissed off. A shrill tone cut through his HUD, an incoming transmission. Encrypted, not from his unit. He almost dismissed it, but curiosity and paranoia won. He accepted. A smooth, cold voice slid into his ear. Sergeant Elias Rourke of the Terran Expeditionary Corps. This is Admiral Carthrun of the Imperial Orion Directorate. Planetary Pacification Authority. Cyril went rigid in his arms, whispering, Rin. Elias' grip tightened. You've got the wrong number. Admiral, this is Pizza Palace. Can I interest you in a deep dish go-to-hell? The Admiral did not react to the quip. Your vessel's transponder betrayed you. We know you have taken a Viharian keeper. Hand her over. Walk away. The Empire will consider your misstep an error of judgment rather than an act of war. Cyril's hand trembled, clutching his armor. Elias stared at the dark ravine ahead. And what happens to her if I say yes? Appose. She is guilty of treason against the Directorate. She will be. Processed. Yeah, Elias said softly. Thought so. He cut the channel. Cyril's eyes were wide. You defy an admiral of the Empire, lady, he said, shifting her weight and starting forward along the ravine. You have no idea how many politicians I've reverepont. Add one more tyrant to the list. You risk your species' peace. Elias shrugged. Humanity as peace that requires us to hand over scared civilians to be murdered isn't worth keeping. Her gaze softened, something like awe mingling with pain. You're kind. You burn bright. Sometimes we burn stupid, he admitted. Hang on. We've got to move. If we can get to an old subsurface transit tunnel, we might. He didn't finish. Because as they turned a corner, the ravine opened into a vast hollow, an underground station carved into the rock, lit by faint bioluminescent glyphs. A hidden Viharian transit hub, still half-functional, humming with low energy. And inside, crouched behind shattered pillars, were Terran rebels in patchwork armor and hidden Viharian resistance fighters' rifles, blades, and improvised explosives ready. Both sides stared at Elias and Cyril in shock. A scarred Terran woman with a shaved head stepped forward, rifle casually aimed in his direction. Well, the Corps finally sent us a delivery, that her. Cyril whispered, the whispered ones, the resistance. Elias shifted to put himself between Cyril and all the guns. Who exactly do you think she is? The woman grinned. Feral. The last keeper with the full archive key. The one who can prove the Empire's war crimes to half the galaxy. Her eyes glinted. And you just brought her gift wrapped into the heart of the rebellion. They moved Cyril to a med-corner hacked together from Terran and Viharian tech. Elias hovered like a storm cloud as a Viharian healer, a male, with sunset orange bioluminescence in his skin worked over her wound, muttering prayers. The Terran rebel leader, Mara Vance, leaned against a pillar, watching Elias with a mixture of amusement and suspicion. So, she said, you're either the dumbest grunt the Corps ever issued a rifle, or you vest secretly got a hero complex the size of a small moon. I prefer morally inflexible, Elias said. The Corps know you're here. Mara snorted. The Corps pretends we Dante exist, so they Dante have to admit their peace treaty with the Empire is soaked in blood. They pay us off, sometimes quietly, to do things they can't be seen doing. What? Like rescuing political targets and exposing war crimes. Like not doing that, she corrected. We had orders to observe only. No extractions. No leaks. No martyrs. Her gaze flicked to Cyril. Then you show up, hauling the most wanted priestess on this rock, and blow the whole up. Happy to hell, Cédrilly. The healer stepped back from Cyril, who now lay on a pallet, breathing easier. A shimmering lattice of bioluminescent strands crossed her leg, interfacing with Elias' foam patch. She will live, the healer said, but her link is fractured. The trauma, the loss of the shrine. It has shaken the song in her, the song, Elias asked. Cyril's voice drifted across the space, soft but clear. The song of threads, what you would call memory space. A shared psychic tapestry. We keepers hold the keys. We store everything. Her hand found the crystal at her throat. The Empire used it as a vault for their classified pacification operations. We wove their atrocities into our song, where they thought no one else could hear. But we never forget. Marat's eyes gleamed. You have records of the Empire's pacification campaigns? Executions, sterilizations, forced labor camps. Cyril nodded slowly. Names, coordinates, times, orders, and the signatures of Admiral Wren and the Directorate Council. Elias whistled low. 14. Enough to shatter the treaty, get half the neutral world's armed to the teeth. Or, Mara said, force the Empire to stand trial. End their grip without plunging the galaxy into open war. If we broadcast it right, let me guess, Elias said. We can't do that from this lovely cave. Marat's smile was pure trouble. We can't, but the Empire's planetary command ship can. Elias blinked. You want to hijack an Imperial flagship? Not the whole thing, just its quantum broadcast core. It's built to push unjammable messages across half a sector. Oui, Cyril. We send the Empire's crimes to every major newsnet and treaty council in the quadrant. He rubbed his face. So the plan is, sneak onto the personal flagship of the guy currently hunting us. Jack his comes, air all his dirty laundry in for 1,000 psychics around, and not die. Marat's eyes danced. You're catching on fast. Cyril watched them, breathing shallowly, a faint smile touching her lips. Humans, she murmured. You dream. Loudly. He knelt beside her, softening. How are you holding up? She studied him. You choose the path that burns the brightest, even if it consumes you. I have seen such ones before, in other species, but in you, it is amplified. He shrugged, embarrassed. We cheat. Our ancestors spent a few million years barely surviving long enough to have kids. Somewhere along the line, we decided screw it and started running toward the danger instead of away. She reached out, fingertips grazing his hand. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin brightened. May I? See, more of you. His brows rose. That's a strong opener. Normally at least buy someone dinner first. She gave a breathy laugh. Not like that. A linking ritual, temporary, safe. We combine our songs. I will understand you better. You will understand me. It will stabilize my fracture and help us weave the archive into something your quantum machines can carry. Mara whistled. Telepathic bonding? And I thought my last relationship moved fast. Cyril's gaze held Elias. You saved my life. You defied your own leaders for me. I would trust you in my mind. If you will trust me in yours. His chest tightened. He'd seen humans come back from telepathic events with scars you couldn't see on a scan. But he also saw what waited if they failed. More massacres like this shrine, multiplied across 100 worlds. Okay, he said quietly. Let's link. He took her hand. They performed the ritual in a circle of softly glowing glyphs, chalked onto the metal floor with powdered Viharian crystal. Sirael sat cross-legged despite the pain, her posture rigid with ceremonial gravity. Elias knelt opposite, uncomfortably aware of half a dozen rebels pretending not to watch. The Hela draped a thin strand of shimmering fiber grown, not woven between their foreheads, resting in the hollow between Sirael's brows and Elias' own. "Just breathe," Sirael whispered. "Do not fight the currents. Let them flow through you. Seen old Terran horror vids that start like this?" He muttered. "Shush my lad. I will be gentle, probably." He closed his eyes. The first touch was like dipping his fingers into cold water full of starlight. Then the floodgates opened. He was standing under an alien sky, looking up at 3 moons while chimes rang in a warm night breeze. He felt the roughness of shrine stones under Small, her hands as she traced glyphs, a child learning the song. He was kneeling before elders, listening to them sing the history of Viharis, feeling pride and belonging. Pain flashed Empire, banners unfurling over temples, soldiers marching, the silence of the song as keepers were taken away. Elias gasped. "Easy," Sirael said, not aloud, but inside his mind. Her voice was a melody threaded through his thoughts. "Now you," he tried to hold back, then realized he didn't need to. The link pulled gently, like a tide. Suddenly, she was with him in a Terran rainstorm, watching skyscraper lights smear through wet glass, smelling street noodles and old engine oil. She flinched at the roar of ancient shuttle engines launchside as a boy-young Elias watched a troop transport rise into the sky, jaw clenched. She felt his fear the first time he went into combat. His rage at seeing a village burned by mistake. His disgust when a superior dismissed civilian casualties as acceptable losses. His choice over and over to step in, to drag someone out of the line of fire. To argue with officers, to file complaints that went nowhere. She saw the little alley cat, ribs showing, soaked and shivering. Felt the weight of it tucked under his jacket, the warmth of its purr as it healed. She realized this was not new for him. He always disobeyed when lives were on the line. Sirael's presence in his mind trembled, then glowed brighter. "You are." Her thought voice whispered, awed. So loud. "Yeah, sorry about that," he said in their shared mental space. Humans come with free internal screaming. It is not the screaming, it is the intensity. You do not simply feel things. You ignite with them. Anger, compassion, love. You burn. He caught a reflection of himself through her, standing defiant amid the ruins. A single stubborn spark refusing to be snuffed out. It embarrassed him and also kind of made him want to live up to it. "And you," he said back, "you see everything as threads, connections. Songs. You carry so much centuries without breaking. That's insane. Your word insane seems to mean many things." She teased gently. "Often you use it for things that impress you. You notice they're marginally more intimate. There was no boundary between your hand and my hand for a heartbeat. Just a single shared awareness." In the circle around them, the crystal powder lit up, lines arcing into a network of glowing paths. The archive flowed. Images, data, names, orders, signature streams of imperial cruelty, meticulously recorded. Elias reeled as atrocities burned through him, black scars on the galaxy. But alongside them, the link carried faces of resistance, acts of bravery, small kindnesses in the dark. He felt Sirael's determination. "We do not remember to drown in grief. We remember so no one can say, 'We did not know.'" He found himself echoing it. "We remember so we can stop it." The fiber between their brows flared, then dissolved into light. The circle of crystals flashed once, then cooled. They opened their eyes at the same time. Elias' breath shuddered. "Well," he rasped, That was... Allô? Cyril looked at him as if seeing him anew. Our songs fit, she said softly. Humans and Viharians. Different instruments, same melody. Mara stepped forward, holding a compact data crown and illegal Terran device used for deep neural interface. And now, we put it, Yorkin plugging in pluship Cyril no dead. Still whole need him. Our minds are now. En anglais. The archive will flow best if we write it together. Elias felt heat rise in his cheeks. So we're co-pilots now, her lips curved. Among other things, perhaps, Mara rolled her eyes. Save the cross-cultural flirting for after we don't die. Gear up. We're going to steal an admiral's voice.